Alright, so what I'm about to say is probably going to surprise you. Especially given how foul mouthed I am and how I don't believe in censorship. I believe in transparency. When someone else tells me that they believe in transparency, makes a bunch of promises, says they understand, and assures me that they do, makes promises, encourages me to do things that are against my best interests, as well as, well, here's the thing. Alright, instead of bitching about all that, my Tourette's is really fucking with me. I had to. I might puke. I might start crying again. If I do, I'm sorry. A lot of people think I just need to vent. Well, if they think I just need to vent, they'll maybe interrupt me less, but they won't listen as intently. If I need them to listen intently, they're going to stop me way too much. By that point, when I start having a panic attack because somebody is literally talking over me too much, you guys can hear that in my videos. You can hear, based on how I speak, how I'm able to communicate, how well I'm able to put my words together. You can tell how safe my environment is. You can also tell by the sounds in the videos whether or not I am able to process everything that's going on. Yes, I'm registering that there is a lot going on, but am I able to focus and process on my computer on what I need to do? Luckily, my computer is going slow as shit, so I mean, that's not luckily. But also, there's a lot of in between time where I'm not able to use that for stimming. That's what I use video games for. But I don't have any because I can't afford any of this stuff that people keep telling me that I have to do to try to get help. None of this gets me help. None of this gets somebody to look at the fucking evidence. God damn it. I'll try to explain it to you, but once you've asked 300 questions that are not yes and no fucking questions, along with tagging on 2 or 3 more questions on top of that, this is why I ask you to look at the resources. When I have resources on PTSD and on how to try to understand somebody with PTSD who is in a state of crisis, I try very hard to understand those to the best of my ability. And I am extremely intelligent, extremely emotionally intelligent. With all of these people, I saw this coming from a mile away. That's because people think they know everything. There's even autistic people who think that everybody who's autistic is like them. These are the ones who have not only been most sheltered, but also very much abused by their parents. By abused, I mean between them getting an education on their own brain, they're letting their parents tell them. They're letting parents, like my dad, for example, pulling out the freeze loop. If you keep talking over me, we're stuck in the freeze loop. If I literally have to tell you 100 times in one conversation, can we please look at the evidence now? You're arguing with me. You're talking over me. You're going to look at this disability stuff, out of all of the videos that I sent you, the only one that you got anything from was the freeze loop. And the only thing that you learned from the freeze loop that is different from the other videos are from autistic people as well. The other videos explain the freeze loop far better and why it happens. They also speak on, common issues versus their issues. Now, one thing is that common issues on these channels, this is stuff that most of us have or is considered a common thing among us. Some of those things are very wrong. He speaks them because this is the medical stuff that people are learning, but he also speaks his personal experiences to show the difference. We score very high on an emotional understanding level. All right, Vicki just texted me something. I'm not sure what it was. I missed it. When I am overwhelmed by somebody talking over me, I am overwhelmed. All right, that isn't dependent on whether or not you want me to be overwhelmed. That's not it at all. It's not dependent upon whether I want to be overwhelmed or not. Having sensory overload. When you're in a state of crisis, you are in a constant state of sensory overload. When you have too much sensory overload, you close in. You try to internalize. You try to make yourself very small, very little, not be seen. You know that if somebody sees you being scared, it's not going to end well for you. You're not a woman. If Molly beats on your vehicle and you have a fucking real panic attack over it, the cops are going to blow you off. If Molly tries to break into the fucking Fred Meyers and scare some 18-year-old girl out of her fucking car, well, that's okay. Like that's what she did. She came over to my fucking vehicle, started fucking beating on it and screaming about Tom, screaming about Tom, screaming about Tom. I had to fucking get my phone turned on and fucking get it started recording. I am so fucking overwhelmed. But you can see I'm not hurting people. You can see that when I'm afraid of people, I just want to get the hell away from them. I'm in a constant state of fear and a constant state of panic. And I have to remain calm. People threaten my life a lot. People send me harassing crap a lot. And I've been trying to show that and explain it for years. I try to clump together a bunch of evidence that I can show to somebody who says that they'll help. But then I got to go back and try to find that stuff. And meanwhile, I get talked over and redirected. And, oh, well, this is taking too much time. Why can't you go do this? Why can't you go do that? And they're wanting to do stuff that I can do. I can do by myself. We have to do the start the things that I can't do by myself, the things that I have to have an environment for. I have to have a positive and peaceful environment. Vicki Raine was very positive and peaceful. But also there's the not understanding part that's very complicated for me. Now also I understand that she's got PTSD and that she will have panic attacks too. So when she's interrupted me a whole bunch, and she's very gung-ho about it, she's very direct. Okay, well, direct is very good, but also if you're being very direct in the wrong direction, then your directness is not functional, especially if you're changing your very directness pretty frequently. If you can't listen to me speak, right? I send you a video of someone else explaining it. That way you can watch it and understand it. I even send people videos. If they're willing to watch and willing to listen, I will send them videos and recordings of themselves. My little sister, the day that I got like 9 hours worth of recording all together on my little clandestine recording device, the day that Ed was trying to threaten me and intimidate me and fucking yell at me. And my little sister was so fucked up, and Ed was so fucked up, and that's where she let it slip that, yeah, she didn't go to the little place that Nora told her about to go get insurance because Nora had never heard of the place. See, that's one of the problems with trying to take your friends that you're going to go party with over where your brothers stand to do paperwork when you're all fucked up and you just want to hang out with your friends and that's all you're focused on and you're bored. You know, you're getting paid $20 an hour. I made sure that I paid her. I made sure that I paid Ed too. They showed up, they got paid. Even though he destroyed an entire fucking computer full of evidence. My little sister made some claims that were wrong, and I recorded that. This is after the fact, and of course, before she came back over, because I wanted her to have a copy of the recordings that I had with her. I got probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 more that I haven't given her, but that's just because I couldn't find them at the time. My Tourette syndrome, you know, a lot of people confuse it for drug use. A lot of people confuse autism for drug use, so I have to be afraid. Now I'm also afraid of Vicki. When somebody's a victim, I become afraid. Especially if it's a woman, because I know I won't be heard. Especially if they manipulate a situation and it's created a situation that is unsafe, that she was aware that it would become unsafe if she did not keep her word. Although she has made me unsafe, I don't believe that she intentionally scammed me. The problem is the decisions she wanted me to make were very expensive, and half weighing it the way that I did, spending my resources where she told me to. Not all of them, of course. You know, it's very difficult. She was saying that she could advocate for me and that I could sign over a piece of paper so she could help with the finances thing. But now realizing the difficulties that she has, the fact that she thought she understood. I should probably trim my mustache. I keep having to lick the hairs out of my face. I don't give out her number, and I don't give out her address. Alright, I'll be right back. I gotta go get myself a coffee, I think. I really do want one. So we're gonna go do that real quick. I do very much feel ripped off, and also without my evidence, I feel as if, well, this is what sucks, is that I should go to the police about this, but I also don't trust the police for obvious reasons here. And I don't want Vicki getting in trouble. She's not doing this to be mean. Because I can't go to the police, I have to go public with things. And if there are things that make my environment unsafe or increase the safety issue, I do get very scared. I do want to go crawl in a hole and hide. And a lot of people don't understand that. But then they look at the stuff with Natalie Bollinger. They don't look at the stuff that I have to show. They'll look at the web sleuth stuff and all of that, but they won't look at my side. Nobody does. For me to be able to tell or show my side, I have to have a safe environment to do so. I can speak a lot faster than I can type. Also, it takes a lot of money to have a place where I can sit down and type and be safe, be actually safe. That takes a friend or family member that actually genuinely cares. For this lady having basically like a pet puppy dog, that's a very scary thing for me. That's not what I am. Now, when I get talked over enough, get interrupted enough, then my words aren't coming out anywhere close to coherent. If I have to talk to a police officer alone, my words are going to be cut off repeatedly, and that's a scary proposition. Plus, having Tourette syndrome and not having someone there to explain I've got Tourette syndrome. I explain it, it just goes one ear and out the other because they don't understand it. They think that Tourette syndrome is this cursing thing. Like, no. Only 30% Tourette syndrome cases have vocal tics, and I do have vocal tics. Like my vocal mannerisms, my eyeball movement. A lot of times I'll do this. That's one of the tough ones that I'm actually able to keep control of just by talking most of the time. Or I keep control of it just by keeping my mouth shut. Gives me a bit of beer face without any teeth. Now, for me, not having an actual advocate, not having a friend or family member with my safety to heart, with my life as something that is important. Now, with that Vicki Raine lady, I do like her. She's not evil. I guess they did have an incident here. Must have. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my coffee. My insurance is up to date, and that's a good thing. Oh, oh my God. My bag. Now the one after this is about somebody who is suicidal, but it's not something where it's something you turn into the cops or anything like that. Oh, you're good. It's one of those things where they're having a panic attack over a particular thing, so they need a remedy to that situation, and that's something I'm willing to get. Oh.
3612?
Yeah.
Thanks. He said that Nick is out of town at his mom's. So, and I called him, messaged him, he's leaving it in the for us. But, make a large chocolate pepper. And, so, that's mine. Oh, what is yours? Can I get that burger?
Hey.
I would like a large coffee, 15 sugar, 15 creamer.
So, I won't be here tomorrow.
Did they find a body in the bathroom or something?
What's that?
Did they find a body in the bathroom or something?
No, someone rear-ended someone in the drive-in.
Ah. Oh, that's like the fourth one I've seen in like an hour.
Yeah, two of them came out to take statements. Another one came out to see if he could get our camera information. And another one came out when we told them, no, we can't get camera information. Who could get that camera information for him?
So they actually can investigate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why didn't you give them their drinks?
That's amazing. I should
Oh,
work at McDonald's. That way when people mess with me, I work at McDonald's and I can call them.
I would beat you, Cody.
I'm sorry, transaction not approved.
All right. Well, I got enough out in my vehicle, but I'll just I'll save that for in the morning. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. See, when the resources are gone, they're gone. Ugh. See, they are actually able to investigate. Oh, God. That's nasty. What's that movie? 8 days a week. Every asshole in history does that hawking thing. Ah, fuck, it hurt. Anyway, she, hold on a second. She has panic attacks from not being allowed to talk over you. And she also has panic attacks when she feels she's not being heard. And then she has panic attacks about money. And she has panic attacks about being alone for certain. A lot of people can't spend all their time alone. They'll go fucking nuts. I mean, look at me. Alright, are you gonna tell me that I am emotionally well adjusted? I mean, obviously I'm not gonna kill anybody. Obviously I'm not gonna fucking assault anybody. But short of that, I am fucking scared shitless. And when somebody gets a hold of me and says there's an emergency with their fucking kids, yeah, they could probably manipulate me into doing something pretty fucking stupid. I'm not going to go fucking physically harm another human being by any means. But if somebody lets me know that there's a fucking child in danger, I can't get heard. If you're calling me, I'm going to assume you want me to put it on my YouTube channel. One of the things that I do to calm down, goose faba, well, no, not really. I'll close my eyes for just a second. Sometimes that helps me. Sometimes when there's a lot going on in my environment, Like right now, I can hear like 6 different things going off. I can hear the radio there. I can hear the vehicle over there idling. I can hear the little thing over here kind of making a whoosh, but that thing over here making a whoosh is actually cars driving by over there because it's a refraction in my vehicle off of my left-hand side window. Because off to the right-hand side, I don't have a window. So not only do I have the sounds coming in, I also am aware of the way that the echoes work and why it is that I can hear it on one side with the shallow whooshes as a car drives by on the road over there. That's a motorcycle. I can also hear what sounds like either somebody's keys or possibly somebody walking their dog. Probably keys because we're in a parking lot. Also, the other sound off to the left-hand side was apparently a school bus opening doors. I am scared shitless of Vicki Raine right now. Fuck everything else. My evidence is what matters. Nothing else is important. Now, when somebody will only do the things, literally over and over and over, do things that they know push me to be suicidal, including the way they communicate. Most people, when they find out I'm disabled and I have a mental disability, they don't understand it at all. And they tell me they understand. Or they have their mental disabilities, which are actually different from mine. And they don't understand that at all. Some of their disabilities are very different, and some of them are very similar. And I can understand where they would get confused, and that's why I try to send the information they can learn from. For the guy who does, what is it? Is it TAF? TAW, the autism world, or the Aspie world. His earlier videos, he speaks from personal experience. As you can see, over the years, he's actually built more confidence. And over the years, you can barely tell that he's autistic. You can barely tell. It's called masking. When he first started, you can see how he's very much exhibiting autism traits. You notice how I took in a deep breath there? This is one of my goose favas. Just inhale. Now, when I had to learn to not stutter, I had to learn to stop and pause a lot. That's where Dr. King came in. He taught me how to speak. I don't mean the literal Dr. King. You know, he died before I was born, but hearing his speeches and also the situation with me first learning to not stutter when I'm scared, you can kind of hear it in my voice. You can kind of hear it in my voice sometimes, like right now. I'm trying not to get too worked up. To explain to somebody who doesn't understand how frequently homeless people who are stuck in a situation like this are messed with, it's horrible. And a lot of you guys with your hatred for addicts, I mean, I hope that you've learned that, yeah, addicts out here have taken me. I don't mean beating me up or anything like that, but they do to me. That lady last night, Candace, she didn't. Here's the thing, you can't con somebody who will give it to you anyway. You don't have to play me with a sob story. You can just ask. If James Payton didn't really beat the fuck out of you, he just pushed you into a bookshelf, then that's what you should have said. Well, that's the thing, is that James said a bookshelf. Jamie told me he beat her up. She told her son that, I want to make sure I get this. I want to make sure I get this right. I don't want to misquote him. She told her son that he had pushed her down the stairs. And I guess that is also what she told Nova Wilmuth. I don't know that for certain because the Nova Wilmuth thing I got secondhand. James Payton, that I got from James Payton. Jamie, I got directly from Jamie, and Jamie's son, I got directly from Jamie's son. But also, she told me 3 different versions of the story. When you are assaulted by a police officer and charged with assault, even if that officer is Waylon Lolatai, and you're never allowed to defend yourself and you don't have the money to take care of yourself or feed yourself, it sucks. When you don't have the assistance of somebody who understands what being completely shut down because I'm stuck in public, you're asking me to do things I'm incapable of doing because of my disabilities. There's supposed to be a caseworker to help me with this because I'm not capable of doing these things. I'm supposed to go to a friend or family member, but my friends and family don't understand that even if I tell them 1,000 times, hey, I can't go in alone. I've spoken with attorneys. I've got all of this stuff recorded from all of these different people. Again, I went and recorded all these places that I was sent to turn shit in. I recorded their excuses for not letting me. I recorded the tactics they used to scare me off. I recorded the fact that they pretended that they were going to help me when it got to the point where they literally were going to have to give up a lot of fucking people, and a lot of people were going to go to jail. Including Polly Olson. So my Tourette syndrome, with it fucking me over severely. I mean, right now, I am so scared to be in public. I'm not allowed to have Tourette syndrome. You know that? It's a good way to get my ass kicked. Wink at the wrong person and get beaten up for being a homosexual. Or get beaten up for winking at his girlfriend. Like, shit, dude, I ain't trying to wink at nobody. I got fucking Tourette syndrome, dude. I was fucking born with this shit. I needed a fucking court date to stop this fucking abuse. You guys have no fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about with the you just need to let it go. With the you just need to move. I went from fucking Chesapeake, goddamn Virginia to Boulder, Colorado to get away from that shit. I went from Boulder, Colorado to fucking Chapel, goddamn Nebraska to get away from that shit. I went from Chapel, fucking Nebraska down to Ken Wilson and Leitha Plunkett's house in Englewood, Colorado, because everybody kept telling me I got to go to the Front Range. All these people that I was sent to in Nebraska about the abuse by Natalie and her fucking friends and family, they all told me that I got to go to the fucking Front Range, all right? Why am I going to the Front Range? Why are they sending me to the Front Range? Because there's supposed to be autism specialists there. And what we got in Nebraska is a bunch of brain-dead rednecks who are afraid to fuck with the cops. They're afraid to piss off a judge. If you piss off a judge, you're screwed because he's a judge in 8 counties. Or more sometimes. Some of those judges, like, they have to do court some places once every other week. or they have to send people elsewhere to do court, or they have to do it on video. The thing is, if you put me in an environment where I can't see my loved ones, I can't speak to my loved ones, I can't see my loved ones, and my loved ones don't understand that I can't function while under a severe amount of stress and a severe amount of abuse. When they say, hey, why don't you just come see me? They don't know what they're asking me to do. My older brother, he got a hold of me on my birthday in 2019, I believe. And he just sent me a message. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know what was going on at the time. I'd just gotten out of Brett Roloff's place, and he was so fucked up on meth, oh my God. And I was scared of that whole situation. Like, I'm literally trying to get help so I can turn in predators. I'm not trying to kill myself. And people are literally trying to bully me to commit suicide. And then there's those things that when somebody is suicidal, the things that push them over the edge. I ask you not to do those things, and you get offended, and you fucking come at me like rabid fucking dogs. Treat me like I'm a shitty person because I'm saying, hey, please read this, please listen to it, please understand it. Now, yesterday, after I left Vicky's, I really did want to post up at least the part that, you know, the screenshot for the front of this video goes to. She wants to operate as if she is correct. And here's the thing, is if, well, my little sister, she knows that what happened in Dallas's house, that she has a copy of recorded. She knows that she could potentially go to prison. So I'm not sure if she looked it up or not, but she's gotta basically pretend it doesn't exist until the statute of limitations is up for turning it in, which I'm a disabled adult, so it's never gonna be. So my sister, she knows she'd get locked up for a good long time, and here's the problem with the law. Now, they will listen to a woman and about all of her this, that's, and the others for a bunch of stuff that's not fucking related, right? Oh, you say it's related when it's a woman. You say it's unrelated when it's me. The cops outright lied to you repeatedly. When the cops claimed that I was arrested on something unrelated to Natalie Bollinger, no, I was in contact with Natalie Bollinger's family at their request. They had gotten a hold of me through Cara Rogers, aka Cara Mia, one of these nut jobs who was fucking pushing me to commit suicide by just like all these other people, telling me that their families were being threatened. Well, God damn it, let's turn it in. We have to do this. We have to turn this shit in together. It has to be turned in. You have to have evidence of it, and I have to have evidence of it, or they're going to claim that it never happened. And no matter how many times I explained it to those people, Brandon Ratner, Cara Rogers, Megan Missigatis, yeah, you don't get to hide it. I have to record everything because when you guys want to have an argument with me, It doesn't need to be an argument and should have never been an argument. When you literally ask the same question 3 times in a row, and I tell you the answer is you need to listen. When you ask me again, you show me that you're not listening because you're busy talking. Listening to the victim is the most important thing. A lot of that stuff that they offer for you to say, you don't have to do that stuff when the person is already trying to tell you what's going on. And yes, at the very beginning, especially when they're scared, especially when they've been afraid to speak and have held it in, and they have to hold it in as long as possible. They have to hold it in until you keep your word. And when you don't, and it takes a very long time, and we're told we're supposed to go to friends and family, and we're supposed to try to turn it in immediately. But then I call friends and family, and they'll argue with me for an hour and a half. In an hour and a half, we could have made the call. In an hour and a half, you butter and my biscuits telling me I'm the smartest guy you know, I'm the most honest guy that you know, how you absolutely believe me, and blah, 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 blah. But then you're spending an hour and a half telling me about everything other than what it is that I'm trying to explain to you. I need a friend or a family member to go in with me to turn this in. Actually go in with me to turn it in. Now, some of this stuff you're able to do over the internet, and a lot of you guys had the great idea of me doing it that way. Well, here's the problem. They've got a time limit on how long you're able to do that. So people tell me, all right, you need to print off the forms. I've got a bunch of forms that have been filled out and not filled out because I went down in person to get some forms, or I was handed them in person, and I made a bunch of photocopies of them because there's a bunch of stuff to write down, but I'm in a constant state of panic and can't function. Too much time alone. I don't have enough for coffee in the morning. I don't have enough for gas. I obviously shouldn't be using up my battery to charge my phone right now. I can't take care of myself, and listening to other people and their empty promises, she doesn't understand. That's the thing. She wanted at the very end of what she typed on there was, sometimes it's okay to agree to disagree. You know, have a difference of opinion, some people type. No, this is important. There's a difference between a difference in opinion and an actual fact. If I wasn't able to get a hold of Zoe Tanner, Zoe Tanner, because I was locked up, and the phone wouldn't call her number because it isn't to the public defender's office. And I say to my public defender in Arapahoe County, hey, I've been shipped around to all these places. I've been victimized in all these places. I've tried to turn in my predators in all these places. I've jumped through all the hoops. I can't do it alone. You guys keep threatening, harassing, and intimidating me if I go in alone. You need to stop. I need to have somebody who is going to go in with me and actually listen. I tried to get an autism advocate so she could explain it to these people. Sean Holloway, I have him recorded on my channel, saying that he was sure that Megan Mistigatis was supposed to be the go-between between myself and the sheriff's department, and she never tried that. For 6 months, what Holloway says in that video, for 6 months, that's what every deputy for the Dual County Sheriff's Department was pushing on me. Not every one of them. See, here's the thing. It's that I still have to have someone there with me in person if I have to talk to the cops. Or I have to have someone on the phone with me while I'm talking to the cops who actually genuinely cares about me. Where my best interest actually matters. If I don't do what you want, right when you want, you're going to fucking throw a tantrum at me. You're going to tell me to be patient for 6 fucking months until I have a mental fucking breakdown. And then you're going to say, oh, Sean, I can't just drop everything every time you want me to do something. I can't just hold your hand 24/7. You didn't hold my hand at all. You weren't there. It's hard to hold anything when you're not there. Most of these people's excuses that they throw at me, they weren't there. When they want to go out of their way to be exceptionally mean to me, they throw shit in my face that they weren't there for. Now there's evidence that they weren't there. How could they possibly know what happened? They weren't there. I've got evidence, recorded video evidence of these instances that I was trying to show these people that wanted to throw it in my face. But the fact remains, no matter how much these people wanted to pretend to be family or friends, they were not. I'm an at-risk adult. When I have a crime committed against me, step one. See, this is different from the bully stuff, and we'll get into that in a second. Step one, I go to friends or family. Step two, we go to the cops together. There's a middle step there that fucking sucks. There's a middle step there. There's a lot of details you've ignored about my life for 6 years, despite the fact that I've tried to let you know. These things keep on happening because I don't have a friend or family member in person who actually has a genuine fucking care about my best interest. My best interest. My safety. Sure, they may have this grandiose idea in their head about Jesus. Or some grandiose idea about the blind leading the blind. Zach Richmond wanted to talk to me like I was retarded, pretend like he was a lawyer. And, of course, therein lies the issue when everybody wants to talk over you. When you're trying to explain something and they continually interrupt you, it makes it more difficult to speak. And of course, I say this a lot. I make sure that I press the point. That makes the victim afraid to speak. Every interruption does. Let them speak. There's a poem called Let Them Speak. I don't know if that's actually the name of it. That's just how it starts. And it's about letting the victim speak. And the poem is mostly about rape and abuse against children, but it also applies to at-risk adults. The poem, it goes, let them speak. Don't ask them, and then it goes through like pretty much, well, every type, the the things you're not supposed to do to a victim, the things that make them not feel important, not feel loved, not feel wanted or welcome or appreciated. And talking over them is one of the biggest things in there. The reason that I push that is because it says it like 4 or 5 different ways in the course of the poem. And it's a long poem. It's, well, in an English book, it's probably, a full page long poem. If it was handwritten in somebody's journal, that's probably about 5 or 6 pages. But it just keeps on saying, let them speak, let them speak. There's all sorts of groups that use something similar. They want to be heard. Missing and murdered Indigenous people and missing murdered Indigenous women, especially the red hand across the face. You notice in a lot of my videos, I put my hand across my face. I know it's not red, but it's what I have to show my support. I could probably get a mask and paint a red hand on it, and I probably should, but then you won't be able to hear me. Also, this channel is not about just MMIW or MMIP. It's not just about BLM. Matter of fact, it's not about any of those groups. It's about the victims and how the groups themselves are different. How focusing on the groups doesn't help the victims. Yes, you can donate to those groups. But when you've got somebody who's missing, right? Let's say you're in Hardin, Montana, and your family member goes missing. Who is it that goes out looking for your family members? You. You go looking for your family members. I tried to convince as many people on my YouTube channel as possible to try to get up there to Hardin, Montana and help find Selena Not Afraid. When somebody is found alive, I get so excited. I get a lot of people when I make these missing persons things. Sometimes people get on and they're like, what'd you do, killer? Well, fuck, I'll erase that one immediately. Fuck you, dude. We're trying to find people. You need to stop fucking trolling me. I didn't fucking kill anybody. I sure as fuck harass people. You goddamn right. As a disabled male, it's the only thing I'm capable of doing is harassing people back. When they take advantage of me or steal from me, I don't have a friend or family member who gives a fuck. Are there friends and family members who know how disabled I am? Yes, my dad knows how disabled I am. He takes complete advantage of that. My older brother Eric knows how disabled I am. He used to take severe advantage of that growing up. I'm out of tobacco. I don't have money for going in here, and they close in minutes anyway. Let's see what Vicki typed at me. I'm pretty sure that's who messaged me. Only 2% battery, so I gotta get started. I'm glad I saw that. She typed at me that now she's living in constant fear. So you see, this is the thing. She took advantage of me, and now she's in fear of what? I am fucking scared shitless of her. I was scared shitless that this would happen. I also understand that with her mental issues, which is why it sucked that one that's very important would have been nice to know ahead of time, and that's that she's got multiple personality disorder. Like, that's fucking scary as shit. You know, I was trying to just talk in general about the situation. And that's the thing, is that the more you play victim, the more I have to tell the truth. And the more important it is for me to find a place to show the truth. I am in constant fear. I am in constant fear because I had to believe somebody and trust somebody. And although that person may have had the best of intentions, they didn't have the follow through. I'm supposed to understand that her mental disabilities prevent her from doing those things. Well, they didn't to begin with, and she stated that. She stated the things that she could and could not do. And we were in accordance and in agreement with that. But then she changed. That's the multiple personality thing. But it's not... She doesn't choose that. See, there's two Vickies. There's the Vicki that is the in-charge office manager. And there's the Vicki that's the scared little rabbit. If you let her be in charge, then she's very good at being direct, even though she's very wrong very often. What she knows, she knows. I know that sounds crazy, but here's the thing. If you're somebody who does taxes, and you know taxes, then you know taxes. The things that she does, the whole office manager type, you know, her specific job description and all that is, well, not anymore, she doesn't have that job. But her specific job description at the time, she does talk about a few times, and I can't remember it at the moment, but it was, she said basically the stuff that I'm dealing with, she dealt with that, except on the numbers side, the taxes side, the legal side that way. So she's used to an entirely different thing altogether. This is a new environment for her as far as any of this goes. So she's learning for the first time. But also, I'm in a state of panic while trying to get somebody to learn, while literally everything that I am trying to show her that is learning materials that comes from other people even, she's not able to look at it. It gives her panic attacks to look at that. Okay. So how can we do this? Well, also, she can't listen because she has panic attacks over listening. She feels that once she's made a decision and pressed it, that it should be done. Now, can I hate her for any of this? No. I hate the situation. I'm not showing this stuff to try to make her look like a bad person. She's fucking not. Now, when you try to hide something often and repeatedly, that is what makes you a bad person. A lot of this stuff she told me right from the beginning. The important parts she didn't tell me until I'd already moved my things here. She did say that she's okay with being recorded. She's fine with being recorded. She said she was surprised I was able to because she said if she could record on her phone the way that I do while she makes a call, that she would. A lot of her issue is that she's got to make the calls, well, without able to record them. I explained to her that I have a clandestine audio recording device that I use for recording audio when I'm on the phone. Other than that, I have to find a place to plug in my computer because it won't work if it's not plugged in. I literally had it plugged in for, God, I don't know how long last night before it started working. And then, of course, the thing is, the Vicki Raine literally did everything that she knew would push me to suicide. She wants me to understand that that drives me nuts. When you're a coward, and that's it. I thought her, what do you call it? Not alter ego, that's not right. Her other personality, I didn't know what to expect. I never do. I meet all sorts of people with all sorts of mental disorders. But this one's scary, and I'm sure you understand why I'm afraid for my shit. I mean, seriously, she sprung that on me after I was already there, already had my stuff there. Now, for me going in and out of there a whole bunch, I had to stop and rest in my car when I got to my car. And then I tried to record everything. Now, with Vicki, she doesn't want to listen to the recording. She just wants to know, Sean, I'm right, and that's how it is, and it's not important which one of us is right. No, in this situation, it is. In this situation, it absolutely is. In this situation, you may not have intentionally misled me. I can understand that. I did notice that when you kept on talking over me, and you would talk over me 5 or 6 times in the course of me literally just trying to say one thing. In such a short period of time. You're not hearing what I have to say. You do not respect me because you're not listening to me. You don't make me feel important because you don't listen to me. When you tell me your opinions rather than look at evidence, that scares me. That's like those tarot card reader type people. Like, yeah, I don't believe in your tarot cards. Why can't we look at it? What the hell is it with people wanting to look at tarot cards instead of evidence? Anyway, I'm out of gas. See, this is exactly what I was petrified would happen. And then by the time I was stuck in the situation, by the time I realized the situation I was in, I had to be very afraid. My life is not important. My evidence is. And now I am trapped here without my evidence. Trapped here with almost no gas. She got a hold of me this morning. See, that's the thing about her memory issues. When she gets overwhelmed and starts having a panic attack, and that whole takeover thing happens, I guess. That's how some people describe it. I don't know. I've never had multiple personality disorder, so I'm not sure what it's like. I don't know what it's like to transition into somebody else and be somewhere else for that period of time. What I do know is having very little self-esteem because of abuse, because of how I'm treated when I try to speak up. I do have a pretty mighty ego, and that's by choice. I've already stated repeatedly that I'm petrified of her, and I'm petrified that if I tell the truth, she's got access to all of my things and she can destroy anything that she wants if she gets angry. I don't think she's the kind of person to do that, but with her playing victim, I don't feel safe or comfortable going over there. With the cops being the way they are, I don't feel safe or comfortable going to them. With her having mental issues the way that she does, I have to understand that, and I have to worry about her safety if I send the police officers there. Because she may have a panic attack and be treated horribly. There's also the fact that cops here don't really take shit fucking seriously. Her neighbor fucking put a BB into the fucking side of her siding and fucking stabbed her house. Well, she doesn't have any evidence that it was him. She just thinks that from the trajectory it was him. And, you know, she also believes that he has a issue against her. And he very well may. I don't know, I'm an investigator, but if she wants to turn it in and she wants help turning it in, well, doing so together is probably the way to do it. A business here, they, of course, have a manager type to answer the situations that sort. I spent my money to the best of my ability in the directions that I was sent to send it in. If I do what you want, and that's the thing, is she would put a token effort into something that needed to be done, followed by a lot of effort for something that wasn't important. Now, the fact that she did that did allow me to show that it wasn't just me, that they do give the runaround. There is a witness there to it. There is somebody who is on the phone who did make the call with me. It wasn't to the right place, and that is unfortunate, because that allows the predators to work together, to drag it out, to make it take as much time as possible. Whereas if you go to try to turn it into the police with a friend or family, that's a much different scenario. Now, when you are wanting me to jump through 10,000 miles worth of paperwork and ideas before we can get there, I have to be afraid of you. What I needed is a safe environment to sit down with my stuff, sort through my evidence, and get it sent to where it needs to go. When I have to take all of my stuff inside of your house, and then outside of your house, and inside of your house, and outside of your house, every time I go over there, it hurts me a lot to do that. It hurts me a lot to have to move that stuff. My body gets fatigued so quickly. There's also my phone being broken the way it is. It's a fucking pain in the ass to turn back on when it dies, and I can't turn it off very easily unless I let it die. These are all issues that started after I met Vicki. and issues that make it exponentially difficult to show evidence, which is further complicated by the fact that I don't feel safe at Vicky's. I left there yesterday because I didn't feel safe at Vicky's. The reason I didn't feel safe at Vicky's is because when I got there, she was real quiet, and I get that she just had surgery. But also, when I started setting everything up, and I tried to talk to her, she was able to speak, by the way. It became interrupting me again. Every time I try to speak and try to tell the story to somebody who's there and not have to generalize, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to generalize. I have to generalize because I have to put the emphasis on the fact that this has happened a lot. It happens because of reputation. It happens because of reputation due to the fact that I had no representation and no family or friends in court. And especially, this is the most important part, I did not have a family member or a friend to help me to turn it in, and I did not have a safe place to process it. I don't mean process it as in, oh, well, I'm having a fucking emotional day, so I have to sit down for 3 weeks to process the fact that, oh, yeah, somebody just died. Oh, that was like 3 months ago. Yeah, no, that's not the way it is. No, the evidence has to be processed. All right, do you know what that means? It means that it has to be gone through. The evidence that shows that I am fucking telling the goddamn truth, I have to have it sent to an address. I have to have it sent to an address that I have access to. Some of these places, I've got 3 days to get it out of the goddamn mail. When I was living at Dallas, I was lucky if you checked the mail once a week. But at least you was in the same goddamn house as me, right? The problem with Jenny Wright being the postmaster and her dad being Pastor Rod Wright, who has a recording of me trying to explain to Sean Holloway again. All right, this is repeatedly. I've got at least 4 or 5 recordings with Sean Holloway, just about fucking Robert Franklin Warnick. The conversation with Sean Holloway, where I asked him, hey, what's, according to what you guys your understanding is, what's Meg's job? Oh, well, she's supposed to be a go-between you and us. Right, exactly. Exactly, but she's not doing that. She argued with me for 6 months. 6 fucking months. And then, of course, I'd still called her because that's who I'm told to go to. She tells me it's not my job. I call the cops or go to the cops and tell them. She says it's not her job. Now I had to try to meet the police in public every time. I am paranoid of Dual County Sheriff's Department because of Scott DaCosta. Forcing me to go to him alone is a fucking horrible prospect. And for obvious reasons, all the things I was afraid he would do if I went alone, he did because I went alone. I got to go to friends who live in houses and have never been homeless who want to tell me how it really is. No, that's not how it fucking really is. That's how it is for your fucking pampered ass. Good, nice. I'm glad it's that way for your pampered ass. I'm glad you don't have to live through it, but I wish you had gone through it. That's not me wishing evil on you. That's wishing you understood the experience. And you're not even willing to try to understand the experience. Now then there's also women with trauma. A lot of women don't understand that men have trauma too. We're not supposed to react to anything unless we are told to by a woman. or unless we are instructed to by a woman, or unless it's one of those rules that we're all supposed to follow. Like if a man hits a woman, you're supposed to get violent as a man. That's supposed to be your solution. What was my solution when that guy punched Jamie in the back of the head in Hood River? Does it look like I tried to haul off and beat the heck out of him? No, I became diplomatic. I just needed to get his attention. This is how you stop bullies, all right? Be a fucking first responder. And that bullying has been far worse than just bullying. Jamie has been repeatedly raped and fucking beaten. No, I never saw her being raped, but I did see her get hit more than once. I saw people throwing shit at her. Not like throwing it literally at her head, but that's just because they were fucked up. They were too fucked up to fucking hit her with it. The stuff was hard enough. If it had hit her in the head, it would have fucking killed her. Or I should say could have killed her. I have seen some people get hit in the head real fucking hard and survive it. And I've seen people fucking fall down and die. Fucking creepy as shit. Not like they just fell down, like the spirit just left their body, but, you know, they tripped, they hit their head just a little bit, and they just didn't wake up. So for me, now I have to be scared shitless. Or not Jamie, but what's her bucket is fucking playing victim. See, here's the thing, is that she went out of her way when I told her something would fucking send me into a panic attack or push me to commit suicide. She does immediately that. Or she says, we have this in common. Yeah? And then she tells stories about how she's got it in common. And then when we try to work on it together, it's not that. So then she wants me to do all this stuff to send her all of these things and the stuff that we need to work on when we're together, because we have a short amount of time. I don't want to waste her time. I don't want to spend a week there at all. You know, I wait until it's my turn to do something. There's also, you know, if you're listening to your music and you need your R&R time, I let you have it. When you put in your headphones and you say, I need to have my meditation, I let you have it. I knew that I had been there too long. I'd been there like fucking 8 days altogether. And I'd been trying so hard to be heard. And finally, the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, she was finally like, all right, I'll listen. There was a puzzle that was on her table, and we were going to work on it. And I did work on it a little bit at a time as I went by. But there's also the fact that, like, I needed somebody to sit down, look at the evidence, realize that I told the truth, and help me to turn it in. Not tell me they believed me. Now, that is important. It is important that when victim comes to you that you believe them. It isn't absolutely necessary for you to tell them that you believe them, but telling them that you believe them is often useful. But you also have to know what you believe them about. When you say you believe me, okay, well, that's nice, but what do you believe? I want to hear what it is that you believe me about, because you keep interrupting me. I'm telling you details that are important because you won't watch the videos. I'm trying to explain to you how not to send me into a panic attack over things that you claim that you understood already. You already understood those things. You already understood that if you did that a whole bunch, that it was going to happen. I was going to have a fucking panic attack. I was going to close down, and I was going to have to speak on the internet. When I am too afraid to speak to you anymore, I will take it to the internet. I have to. You say, oh, you don't have to. Well, you know what? You're right. I could just take the abuse for the rest of my life and ignore the abuse against others for the rest of my life. But What the fucking point is that? Where is the point in that? I'm scared shitless of her. I literally told her what I was afraid of, that if she did those things, that it would hurt me badly. It would hurt me greatly. And then she did those things, and the expenses are just... You gotta have 3 fears. 1, you gotta have the fear that they won't listen. 2, you gotta have the fear that if they do listen, they're gonna do exactly what it is that you said hurts you. And number 3, if you tell on them or they believe that you might, they will immediately play victim. I don't know what to do here. I do know that one of the reasons I'm able to remain a little bit more calm given this situation is because I took caffeine. I don't mean like I took a caffeine pill or anything like that. I got these... fuck. I got these things. The Java Monster Coffee Energy. If I drink 2 of them in a row, it'll put me to sleep, so I gotta make sure I don't. Well, if I drink like 2 of them within half an hour. But also, just because it usually puts me to sleep doesn't mean that I won't have a shooting pain go up my back in the middle of the night, which... I live in a fucking car. I never have time to clean it out all the way. When people say you've got plenty of time, I have disabilities. I can't do it fast. I can't do it fast. Stop hating me because I can't do it fast. Stop punishing me because I can't do it fast. When you see me moving fast, I am overwhelming myself and overexerting myself already, and I will fluff out fucking quick. A lot of people are domineering. They don't realize how domineering they are. A lot of nice people are domineering, and that's the problem. There's a lot of nice alcoholics. They're nice. Their internet persona is nice. When I say internet persona, that could be anything from your Facebook to your farmer channel to, well, all sorts of shit. Now you see, there's all sorts of people making fake Sean Schwartz accounts and fucking harassing me on my channel. And of course, I got to try to find a place where I can sit down and go through all that, but I got to find a place where I don't have to worry about my predators because I am stuck fucking alone. the breaches of protocol and abuses of protocol, well, those are important because those are what created such an unsafe situation. But I can't blame the police alone because it took a lot of people not listening for it to get this far. You know, when this whole situation first happened in Virginia, I'd been having fucking panic attacks really bad over the fucking Boulder Police Department, hardcore. And when I went to Virginia, I didn't have a safe place other than my car. I didn't have a safe place to go. Starbucks was a safe place. Literally, it was an absolutely safe place for me for 7 years. Absolutely safe. Nobody was going to try to hurt me in there. Everybody in there knew that I wasn't going to try to hurt anybody. If there was violence, I was going to try to fucking defuse it. Or possibly get hit a few times for getting in between the two because I'm an idiot. But it rarely got to that point. There are so many situations that the staff said thank you to me about because if I hadn't been there, one of them might have got fucking insulted. One of them might have gotten assaulted or had coffee thrown on them. And yeah, that's assault too. It's hot fucking coffee. I don't want that shit happening to people. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I say on my channel that is really mean. Of course it's mean. Here's the point. It doesn't feel any better when people do that to me. But nobody fucking cares when people do it to me. I'm told I just need to man up. I just need to let it go. I just need to let them do it. I don't know what her other personality is like all that great. It seems to me that I don't know which one is the dominant one and which one is the real one. I didn't mean it like that. I meant which one is her, the actual Vicki, who is Vicki, and which one is her other Vicki, you know? So, like when I get talked over, I get fucking quiet. When she gets talked over, she gets quiet. Well, she doesn't really. She sort of does, but what she tends to do is she'll say she'll listen, and she does for about a minute, and then she has an OCD thing, and I do understand that. You get to see me go and squirrel all the time on my channel because I'm in an unsafe situation pretty much everywhere I go. Now, there's places like Dallas, Richmond that would have been a great place if he'd have gone to fucking work. That's what sucks. You know, he was a hardcore alcoholic and his boss wasn't sending him out after a while and he just never went and looked for a job. So I was giving him all my money. Not all of it. I don't want to say it like that. I don't want it to sound like he's taking hundreds of dollars a month on top of rent and paying the fucking bills for, well, all right, I paid one bill and I also always give him, it was $100 for fucking internet for shit's sake, okay? I don't understand how Zach Richmond's internet is $100 fucking bucks. But it is. At first, he was telling me he thought it was like 40 or something. And I didn't get that information from Zach. I got it from Dallas. Now, I made sure there was the money for rent and the money for the internet, like clockwork every month. He kept on telling me I was paying him too much, and I told him I disagreed because I wasn't fucking freezing to death, and I couldn't find anywhere else to live for $300 a month. Now, that's not the amount that we agreed to pay on. We agreed that I'd pay, I want to say he said 50 a month plus part of one of the utilities. And I was like, I can do that. But it ended up being a bit more than that, over time, and also with him losing his job. It's kind of similar with my Aunt Mary when all those expenses come down on her. I was staying with her, and I felt bad. The first 3 months I was there, I didn't have a job. When I was staying with my Aunt Mary all the way back in 2001. 3 months without a job. But after that, I did get a job, and I started saving a little bit of money, and I had a couple of $100 saved up. But my Aunt Mary, she was eating all of my food instead of her special diabetes food. And then the insurance from Shalom and her car insurance came up, and like the homeowner's insurance and the renter's insurance. And it's not a renter's insurance, but anyway, it's a bunch of stuff I don't understand because I've never owned a house. Some of the other stuff I understand. I own a vehicle. I'd owned vehicles by that point. And it hadn't had a driver's license, but I'd owned a vehicle. That 1985 Pontiac Firebird my uncle tried to kill Loretta Sparks in. Anyway, I got to come up with enough money for a coffee in the morning. It's $2 for a burger here, which is cheap. That's just a regular McDonald's hamburger. If it's really, really, really bad, I'll try to see if I can come up with it like $1 at least, If I got $1, I can get $1 fountain soda pop and I can refill it. The stuff that I had to wait over the weekend to do the other weekend, almost a month ago now, where finally on Monday, I was going to be able to do the things that I needed to do, and the internet at McDonald's was going to be able to allow me to do it, and that's when he intimidated me, and I left, and I make sure that when he's there, I'm not there long, and I do leave. When I go in, and even if I set up my computer in there, if he comes in or if he's working, I'm afraid to set up my computer because it takes so long to start up now, and I don't know how he'll react. Now, he's nice to me, he talks nice. He's in a few of my recordings, but the other thing is he is the general manager, and he said that he'll get in trouble if I'm there just hanging out, and I don't want him getting in trouble. And one of the other managers said, well, he won't get in trouble. He just... Never mind about that. I have my phone on right now because I am scared to turn it off. I'm stuck in public. When I'm in private and I have some peace and quiet, which you see how impossible that is to get, and still have access to the resources I need. I can't get peace and quiet in my car and still have access to room for all of my things and organizing it and going through it and making the calls that I need to make and having the computer make sure that it's recorded. I followed instructions. I followed what the attorneys told me before Natalie was killed. I followed what it is that they told me to do. The problem is that included going to friends and family. You have any idea how difficult it is to tell friends and family what's going on when they just keep talking over you? And then I feel bad for anybody that's got to deal with me. That's the biggest thing with Miss Raine right now. I mean, yeah, I am scared shitless of her now. But also, fuck it, it don't matter, do it? None of this matters. We're all just dust in the wind, right? We're just sand on the beach. We're a tiny germ on a tiny pebble in the middle of outer space, or some crap like that, right? Some saying like that. Or we're somebody was trying to describe us like a tentacle on an amoeba and I thought to myself, there's no tentacles on amoeba, are there? I'm scared. I'm fucking scared that what I was afraid would happen has happened, and that's why it's important to have an autism advocate to help explain things. And that Megan Mistigatus was supposed to do. According to Sean Holloway in that recording there, that shows that, yeah, they thought that was her job even at that point. And I'm pretty sure that was after the conversation where I literally had to call the Dual County Sheriff's Department to show up at the Catholic Church, outside of the Catholic Church, and call Megan Mistigatus when they got there, and have my computer open so I could record it when I said, hey, Megan, will you please tell them what your job is? Now she brings it down to, oh, well, I told them I was a volunteer. No, you need to stop right there. The things that they said you're supposed to do, that they kept pushing at me that I'm supposed to do, I got her to explain to the officer who was there. She played fucking retarded at the very beginning. You know, the whole, I already explained it to me. There's an officer here, explain it to him. Instead of it being another 6 months of us playing this fucking game, explain it to this fucking officer. Which is good because it's still on this computer. Isn't that great? Or at least I'm fairly certain it is. There's a lot of the stuff in my private photos that, going through it, I was surprised how much is really left. I need her to understand what an emergency it fucking is, and it's taking fucking 6 weeks to do something is not working. If you follow fucking instructions, we can get this shit done in 2 goddamn days. But that's the problem with your assumptions versus the reality of the situation. Sean Schwartz is super efficient when he has a positive environment. If he's afraid to speak, it's not positive. If he's afraid to stand up for himself, it's not positive. If he's fucking working himself to death, it's not positive. That's right, referring to myself in third person. That's right. Now, I'm not going to pretend like she didn't ever do anything for me. She did a lot. I'm talking about Megan. But the thing is that all of the things that she did were in the wrong direction because she wasn't being a go-between between me and the sheriff. I was like, here, I don't need you to call them for me, but here's their number. She had their number. I got paperwork signed by her, notarized. She spent like $80 to send that shit out to my Aunt Mary, to the fucking courts, and to the fucking police. When did she do that? How long did it take her to do that? Where was I at when she finally sent that? And how long after the first time that we spoke was that? Also, the situation with her being a volunteer. The thing is that she can either stand up for herself to the cops, keep her word as she had stated to the cops, and of course the cops had her number. They had her phone number. They could have called her at any point in time. She had their number. She could have called them at any point in time. See, Officer Bo Fisher is the one who got me in contact with her. Bo Fisher. He's one of the cops that's not a cop there anymore. He's also the only one that tried to do something useful. The problem is that the advocates that I should have had, they're not volunteers, they're state fucking organized advocates. That is specifically their job. These dual diagnosis clinics. One of the people is supposed to be your therapist and the other is supposed to be your advocate. Now, I was under the impression, because they kept on changing it on me, that in my situation, that that Marcia Estradas, and she was a LMHP, that she was supposed to advocate for me because she's the LMHP. No, she's the boss. Penny Cooper is supposed to be the advocate, and Marcia Estrada is supposed to tell Penny Cooper what to do. But Penny Cooper didn't do what Marcia Estrada claimed that Penny Cooper was supposed to do. Did Penny Cooper tell Marcia Estrada that she wasn't doing those things? Meanwhile, all that stuff is buried in years and years and years of fucking bullshit because I haven't had a safe environment. And I also have to rely on a lot of people with their own mental illnesses, and some of them are very severe. When somebody is schizophrenic, I have to be afraid of that. When somebody is bipolar, no, I'm not scared of somebody who's bipolar. Are you fucking kidding me? People who are bipolar, even though they're treated like they're fucking retarded or schizophrenic, bipolar disorder is nothing like they claim. People who are bipolar, oftentimes they have other stuff that goes along with it. Also, oftentimes they're given enough medications that you really can't tell if it's side effects from a medication or if they really have an issue. Fucking kids tearing around like idiots. It's a little early for me to go driving around all over the place. Vicki did creep through the parking lot earlier, and that creeped me out. So maybe she wasn't creeping. Maybe she was just checking to make sure I was all right. Maybe she was just driving through for a burger, and I just didn't see her. Anyway, I do have to let her know that I feel unsafe. I don't feel safe having my stuff there. She already knows that, I'm sure, because I let her know that if she wasn't the advocate for me, if she wasn't able to comprehend what was going on, then I was going to be screwed. I was going to be stuck in a subservient position with no way to get out of it, no resources to get out of it. And that's one of the things about me having to understand other people's disabilities, but they're not understanding mine. Also, I'm in the subservient position, so I have to try to understand theirs, and really, they don't have to try to understand mine. They can control all my stuff now that they got all my stuff, and they can use that to try to force me to be subservient, or to be quiet, or to shut up, or, I'd rather be ass raped in fucking prison. You didn't like hearing that? My evidence is worth more than my entire life. Because I don't have a life without it being seen. I have evidence enough, even with everything that's been fucking stolen from me, to show that felonies were committed in every single one of my fucking court dates. Because of lack of audio recordings. And also video recordings. It's not that they didn't exist. It's that nobody fucking tried to get them. Is that true? No. One person tried to get them. Me. But I had to try to get them alone, and I was blown off and fucking lied to. It's called color of law. And they can get in a lot of trouble for playing that color of law bullshit on somebody. There's a lot of definitions and terms I had to learn after Natalie died. A lot of that legal shit, most of what I focused on was turning people in, mandated reporter stuff, and focusing primarily on that. Well, I didn't know a whole lot of other law stuff because, shit, how often do I have to fucking deal with murder? Now, there's a guy named Ed. And I have been trying to speak up for him for years because he's in prison for murder for the rest of his life. He was a guitar player down on Pearl Street. And a man who was trying to fucking stab me one night was scared off by people at sorry, overwhelmed again. Old Chicago's. And he did leave. He went a few extra blocks and went and stabbed somebody else. Like a fucking idiot. But he didn't get in trouble that night. He didn't get busted that night. No, that same exact guy got himself stabbed to death at Ed's camp because him and his buddy went in and tried to fucking beat Ed to death in his sleep and take his shit. So Ed killed them both. He got sentenced, he's in prison. Nobody gave a fuck, he's a hobo. Nobody would listen to me, he's a fucking hobo. I even called the local news, I called the Denver news, I called all the fucking news places I could. I told Pastor Benny about the situation. I told Darren O'Connor. Anyway, thank you all for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. I'm reasonably safe for a few minutes. Hopefully, if I stop recording the video, it'll charge my phone a little bit faster, use a little bit less gas. I should turn off my lights. I'll text Vicki and let her know that I am afraid of her. I'm afraid for my stuff, and I'm afraid of being harmed out here. She already knew I was afraid of her because she has so much power with me being subservient so much in this situation. She wanted me to bring my stuff to her house, so I did, even though I wasn't comfortable with it. That's what she wanted to push instead of the help that I needed. And then with the plates and stuff, I tried to explain to her what needed to be done, that I needed to try to get it done with Nebraska because it'd be a lot cheaper and I won't have to change my ID. Well, now I've got an official Oregon ID. That's right, folks. So, let's see if I can find it. Oh, yes, in my wallet. It did come in the mail today. Like I said earlier when I told you, let's see. Oh my God. There'll be the devil to pay. Now don't be messing with them 3 6s. Go on home and grab some crucifixes. You better prepare for the war today, 'cause tonight the devil comes out to play. Sorry, I noticed there was, my ID number has 3 6s in it. That's right. 3 6s in a row. I don't think I did that thing that I just did right. I'm going to try to do it properly. Now don't be messing with them 3 6s. Go on home and grab some crucifixes. You better prepare for the war today, 'cause tonight the devil comes out to play. All right. I know that's weird, but I didn't get to finish writing the song. It was supposed to be hilarious, but I don't remember the rest of it that I wrote, and I never finished the song. All right. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's, and no victim left behind, and that includes Vicki, Raine. Remember that. No victim left behind. Not even Vicki, Raine. She didn't do anything horrible because she's a horrible person. She's not a horrible person. Well, technically, all people are horrible people. We just fucking suck at being people, don't we? What we call humanity, we all fucking suck at that. We all fucking fail miserably. But she's not a bad person. And as long as she doesn't try to hide shit, I won't consider her a bad person. Now, there's stuff that she might want to hide and keep a secret, and I understand that, and it's a good thing for her. Most of that's not fucking important for my situation. It is important for hers. I want her safety to be a top priority. That's the thing with Robert Farnsworth. You know, I didn't want him getting kicked out of that church. I wanted him to still be able to eat. But I also wanted to get a fucking protection order against him so that he couldn't fucking attack me. With my friends and family that look the other way, I give them a tiny taste of what I've had to go through. No, I don't go threatening to kill them and their families or anything fucking creepy like that. I just give them a small taste by treating them the way that they treat me. They make a bad assumption about me, I make a bad assumption about them. Easy. They get butthurt about my bad assumption, I get butthurt about their bad assumption. See? Easy.